back with more Angel. This is episode 15 of season 4. Very excited to carry on and get through quite a bit of Angel for this next cycle. All 3 slots in this kind of reaction cycle are Angel, so we'll be kind of caught up with the same amount of episodes of Buffy after we go through these, which is very exciting. And we're in the middle of some Angelus crazy stuff, some Cordelia crazy stuff, some Connor crazy stuff, some Faith crazy stuff. A lot's going down, and currently Faith has 2 holes in her neck because Angelus is bleeding her dry, which isn't ideal. Not a situation I would like to find myself in. I don't think Faith's that pleased about it either. So yes, I'm excited to see what's going to happen next, where things are going to go. But I am really liking the Angelus side of things, you know. The obvious, the not fun side of things are still not fun. But either way, I'm excited. Let's get into the next one. Oh.
Come on, I'll give you one.
Oh.
Break free.
That's clever. It kind of felt similar to Helpless with Buffy. How she like stopped that vampire with holy water. Where's the carrying her? That's making me a bit emotional. After everything those two have been through together. And apart. I like how Angel once had to trick Faith into thinking he was Angelus, and now she's actually like stopped the real deal. Or tricked the real deal as well.
Faith knew the risks. Oh, she couldn't.
It was his plan though, was it?
Wesley, I know what that drug does to people.
What the hell is it with you and Faith? As if I didn't see the way you looked at her. She cracked her whip and you liked it. You can't even be loyal to our bed, let alone our little family.
What the hell?
Better father than Angel was to you.
I will be.
Why are you trying to push him away?
Anything for us.
Are my hormones out of whack or what? Hello, crazy pregnant lady, I'll mine. Woo! I want to know.
What's gonna happen to her?
What a weird scene.
Actually,
Orpheus isn't entirely physical. It's an enchanted drug.
Magic. This is what it gets you.
The magic drug metaphor from Buffy season 6 is
Gets you down to hell.
not quite as subtle here. I mean, it wasn't especially subtle in Buffy, but...
Gets you that.
Oh! Flashback memories. I've missed that wig.
it's your flashback.
Oh! They're like in the shared dream, because they both had the same thing.
I got one last job. Babysit the psycho till they shove a soul up your...
Not gonna happen.
Then whatever. Dust in the wind. Candle in the wind. There'll be a general wind theme.
I can't do it again. I won't.
Oh, what is it?
Hey, get out of the way!
Oh, no!
He's acting like it's a traumatic memory for him.
Finish what she started.
You mean the Soul Angel?
Impossible.
Then you all think that I'm taking this personally so you don't have to. But inside you know I'm right.
And you also kind of
I
are.
need to put Angelus down.
I don't think so.
Oh shit, boys. Oh shit.
Willow.
She's a witch.
And Fred in the same scene. Oh god.
Yes, hi. Hi, Willow. Hi, Fred. It's good to see you. Marlboro man. Or at least his extra stubbly, mentally unstable, insomniac person.
Gotta capture this frame for the rest of my life.
I could taste somebody stop.
Hang it in a museum.
We should probably start the debriefing. Where's Cordy?
Unfortunately, the guy who you're all trying to magically re-insult shot her with a crossbow. She's not up for visitors.
Way to kill the
I think
mood.
she'll want to see Willow.
Higher power? You? Ultimate evil. But I got better. You heard about Faith? Coma again. You really think you can pull it off?
Oh shit.
Putting his
Oh
soul
no.
back? It's the first
Don't
spell
you
I ever learned.
dare.
Not gonna forget that.
Don't you dare.
Okay.
I mean, they're not gonna kill her in Angel, but don't you dare.
Can you hand me that drink? That way we don't have to magic the soul out. We just break the glass around it. Great idea. I'm really thirsty. And then Angel's soul is still released into the ether. We're gonna get him back.
Yes! Fuck you. I don't like saying that to you, that face, but fuck you.
Oh, there'll be another dream for me. Someone will bring it.
Bring on the pain.
Oh my goodness.
Huh?
It's Mandy!
Must kill you. He's got a Jones for the pockets.
That's amazing. Even if it looks like a BG.
I'm always here, Faithy. Deep in.
That is true.
Give me your money.
Oh. Well, now he can't do it, genius. You don't drink from him, do you?
Doc, I think we're losing it. I've seen a darkness in myself. I'm not sure you'd even begin to understand.
I flayed a guy alive and tried to destroy the world.
True.
I had a woman chained in a closet.
Hey.
No, it doesn't compare.
No, dark. That's dark. You've been to a place. Fred, what's her story?
God, I'm
Let
sorry.
me tell you. Symbolism.
You didn't think my help was private, did you?
Oh. Idea of a shared hell's kind of cool. I mean, not for them.
She was brave and she died in battle.
Not dead yet. I think the fact that he opened up to Willow about his darkness kind of shows that he must feel, you know, a bit guilty for it.
You're good.
Oh my god,
Good
stop it.
bells.
Oh, give them a spin-off.
We'll restore them low pings in tropic equilibrium.
Did y'all go smash?
Smash or crash.
All I need to know.
Oh, shit.
See your hand, witch!
You will not interfere with what must come to pass.
Oh boy.
Vete in the Doria Disparu!
Yeah, that's right.
Bit my thumb.
Almost too powerful. Should she handle it?
Alish Ashtoreth!
Hell yeah. Oh no.
Hold her on.
If her hair changes colour, abort. Oh. Pleasant.
What is this?
But I already know this crap, so why do I have to go through it again?
Maybe because it's not about you.
Oh.
Jackass.
Wow.
What the hell is that?
Oh.
Ignore it. Find your target.
Ignore it?
Side. Break the glass. Where's Connor?
Let loose the soul!
Is he going to protect Cordelia?
Are you okay?
Ha-ha! Best thing Connor's ever done.
Oh, shh.
I don't.
Not every day we get to see these two actually share the screen.
Gravy. Once I finish you off, I've been waiting a long time for this.
Ah, I love them interacting. That's kind of cool.
You have to kill him, jealous.
So,
The one thing he wants to bloody do.
Floating around. Do you ever think the relationship's maybe a little bit icky?
Yeah.
You know, I have fought harder than anyone to save Angel's life.
You haven't.
There's a time when you have to weigh risk versus reward. And as much as I love Angel, as a friend, killing Angelus now. I know.
Why is he acting so torn about it? He's been jumping on that for ages.
I did my time.
Our time is never up, Faith. We pay for everything.
I do think it's more interesting to like choose to live and redeem than like one act of redemption, like sacrificing yourself.
Get.
Oh,
You have to get up.
Getting back into the game.
I guess I am.
Hey!
damn, son. Yes. To become one.
Break me off a switch, son.
Yes. Yes. Punch him in the face. In the face. Punch him in the face.
It's a miracle.
You needed to have a bit more faith. Huh.
It's me. Really.
know you're going to Sunnydale.
I think I prefer the bear, but the way Willow talks it up, that's where I'm needed.
Fighting.
No!
Hey, I was gonna, but someone.
Oh my God.
On me.
Yeah.
Only gonna lead to hugging and.
We can't have that.
I love their relationship.
I get it. I messed up.
It's your up, punk. That just makes you one of us.
You headed out?
Yeah, no
Fair.
tears, big guy.
Nah, I'm good. I just wish I could have seen you kicking the crap out of Junior.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, sit back and let the girl do all the heavy lifting.
That's pretty much it.
I think that volume's outdated.
Aw.
You know better than me, but it might help. You know how that is sometimes.
I'm seeing someone.
Time goes by, love.
Okay, good. Wagons West. See you guys.
Would have been Fred though. Oh, Faith's gonna be on Buffy. Oh.
Tell Buffy you said hi.
Good.
The next time you guys resurrect Angelus, call me first, okay?
So we're back.
Hell yeah.
It would seem.
If this is the speech about how the worst is behind us, you may want to save it for later.
I don't like saying it, but can she shut the fuck up? Okay, another very good episode overall. A few things I'm kind of a bit like, yeah, on. I imagine for the most part you can tell what they are. But yeah, I feel like this was kind of the end of a mini arc, it kind of feels like, with Faith coming back, and the Angelus stuff seems to be done as well. I feel like it's very well judged. I think how long the Angelus thing lasted, I feel like, you know, maybe they could have got another episode, maybe 2 out of it, but I feel like that was an appropriate time to kind of bring it to a conclusion, especially since we still have Cordelia out and about doing all this shit, and they don't actually know it's Cordelia behind all of it yet, so we still need to get all that done, and, you know, having Angelus around as well as that probably would have been a lot to deal with. And, you know, we needed to get proper Angel back, I guess, to address the Cordelia stuff and the fact that she's pregnant, because, yeah, I think I mentioned that in the last one, you know, Angelus finding out Cordelia's pregnant with Connor's kid wouldn't have quite the impact they would when Angel finds out. So it's good that Angel's back, and we actually got a bit of him, you know, before he came back, in a way, because of, like, the whole nightmare-y, dreamy hell sequences when Angelus and Faith were on that Orpheus drug thing. So that was cool to actually see, like, Angel and Angelus interact and have, like, a bit of a fight. I thought that was really cool, and it's amazing to me that they haven't really done that before. It feels like such a... Of course they're going to have a scene where Angel and Angelus have, like, a scrap fight. Of course they are. And yet it's taken this long to get to that point. You know, like, it's like 7 years, I think, at this point, from when Angel first appeared in Buffy. So that's kind of crazy that it's taken that long to get a scene like that. But it was a neat little thing to see them really go toe-to-toe and face-to-face. Obviously not in reality, because David had to play both of them separately. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was a fun little thing and a good way of wrapping up the Angelus stuff. And it makes sense that they got Willow back. And that's all I really want to talk about, Willow and Fred. They brought her back because she's the person who restored his soul last time, so it makes perfect sense. That's where I thought they were going when Fred called Willow in Buffy, and to see her get quite a substantial role in things, really. She had quite a decent amount of screen time in this one compared to, like, previous appearances and crossovers. They've not been fairly brief, I think. I feel like this is the most substantial crossover potentially ever, because even when Angel was in Pangs, he wasn't, like, that present in the main story, and him and Buffy didn't interact. I guess I Will Remember You was the last time I felt like we got a proper meaty crossover, if that's the right word. Because obviously Willow, we had Oz and Spike show up for an episode, but I feel like, you know, they weren't, like... They kind of had to split screen time between the two of them, because there were two characters in the same one. And we've had Willow at the end of season 2, actually just a quick cameo, she didn't say anything. Disharmony earlier in that season, she also had that phone call with Cordelia. actually interacting with the real Cordelia. That's what makes me sad about this Cordelia thing. It's it just feels like a wasted opportunity to get those characters interacting again, because it wasn't really her. And that just makes me sad. Because if Buffy's coming to an end very soon, which it is, are we going to see Buffy characters turn up on Angel in like season 5? I really don't think we would. Personally, I don't think that's going to be happening. I'd love to be proved wrong, because I've punched the air multiple times. But I don't know. That just felt like potentially the last time we ever see a Buffy character show up on Angel, and that would make me sad if that's the case. So I'm hoping I'm proved wrong. But yeah, it just makes me sad, the Cordelia thing. Like, I don't mind Cordelia being possessed for a bit and being evil. I mean, I'd rather they didn't, because we want Cordelia to be on screen, because we love Cordelia, not possessed Cordelia. But yeah, it makes me sad. Like, imagine if Xander was in this episode and they haven't been seen on screen together since Buffy season 3. Imagine how crazy that would have been to see those two together again, but it wasn't really Cordelia. It's just like, oh, come on, man. It just feels kind of sad that that's how the plot turned out. And yeah, I don't mind turning Cordelia evil for a bit, but just the way they did it and they've handled it, in particular with this episode. I mean, I don't like the Connor relationship baby thing. That can get in the absolute bin. That sucks, but the idea of evil Cordelia, I'm not like, yeah, that's the worst idea ever, dead against it. Maybe not for the entire season, which they've kind of gone for, but never mind. You know, there's a reason Angelus only sticks around for a few episodes at a time. There's a reason Dark Willow was only the last few episodes of Buffy season 6. You know, but just so many thoughts on it, and I don't know if I want to even get into it, but it's bad enough as it is, really, watching those scenes, just knowing it's not Cordelia and her doing all this evil stuff, and they still didn't know that. But it's when Cordelia's obviously doing out of character stuff because she's possessed or changed, whatever. I don't think they've properly explained what's happened to her yet. I'm sure they will. But we know she's not right, that's for sure. But even then, it still feels like they've even written that out of character in this one. It just felt very odd. The scene where she snaps at Connor and gets mad at him and pushes him, like, it was all about faith for you now, isn't it? Like, you won him back after that in the last episode, or the episodes ago when you told him you're pregnant. And I don't get why she took that approach. Like, is it just like her possessiveness of him suddenly made her snap for like no reason? Was it just so they can plant a seed of doubt in Connor? Because it just felt very forced. Because all her manipulations of him before have been very cold, calculated, talking to him calmly, and they've always worked. So why change it up and just have a go at him? Especially once she kind of calms herself down. It's like, hormones, which, I don't know, like, that was just very strangely done. Because when she did go back to normal and I spoke to him like a human person, he then went to get information about Faith, because that's what she really wanted. So it still worked. Like, her just randomly snapping felt so weird. Maybe that's just me. But I was like, how does this benefit you in any way to get mad at him and push him around like that? It just, I don't know. It felt very bizarre. I don't know if it's maybe Cordelia's fighting back, whatever this thing is that's changed her, and maybe that's a sign of that struggle. She's like pushing against it, it's making her angry. I don't know, but they haven't even hinted at that, so I'm not sure. That just felt very bizarre to me. There was just a few moments like that, and I was like, that doesn't seem right. The other one I kind of had was Faith in like the nightmare dream thing. At the start, I think she got a bit better as it went on. I just felt like she was written very oddly at first when her and Angelus first talked in that kind of realmy, flashbacky place. When she was talking about wind and like, oh, it's definitely like a wind thing or a wind theme or something. That line about that felt like something Buffy would say, not Faith. I was like, that's very quippy for Faith, and I feel like she might make some snarky remarks and stuff, but it just didn't feel like, yeah, it's not something Faith would say. And I don't know if that's just because it's supposed to be Angelus's perception of Faith or making her seem a bit off, but that also doesn't make sense because it felt a bit like a nightmare and a hell for Faith as well as Angelus. Maybe it was just, you know, her being a bit loopy, a bit, I don't know, because of the Orpheus drug thing. I don't know. But just that one line in particular, that very first scene with that, I was like, this doesn't seem like Faith. There's just a few moments of, character moments. I was like, that just seems way off. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. Just those two sequences in particular, I was like, why? That doesn't seem right. And then while I appreciate the Angelus and Faith stuff, in like the nightmare and everything, I like the idea of it. The fact that this was also Angelus's kind of last episode where he gets the soul back, Angel's back, and the last episode with Faith, hopefully not forever, but for the time being, because it seems she's going to go to Buffy, which I'm hyped as fuck for, by the way. I'm glad that she can potentially be back in Buffy before the show ends. Please. Yeah, the fact that this was like the last appearance for them, it would seem, maybe for this season, this arc, whatever, it did feel a bit of a shame that the real Angelus and the real genuine Faith spent like half an hour of the episode unconscious on the floor and not being able to interact with all these characters. That has made the last few episodes in particular really good, because we couldn't really get a lot of the really interesting Faith and Wesley dynamic because she was unconscious for most of it. And then she's like, well, bye Wes, and then off she goes. I'm like, oh, maybe if it had only been like the first half of the episode when they had the nightmare thing, because we all know Faith wasn't going to die and she was going to like power through it somehow, and I even feel like that wasn't particularly like, aha, yes, this is how she got out of this. It just felt like, well, the episode's nearly over, so Faith wakes up. That's kind of what it felt like to me. But regardless, that whole idea of, Angelus's little personal hell, living through some of Angel's like good moments where he's like saved people, and that's like torture for Angelus. I liked that. But even then it just seemed to suddenly switch, and he's like, oh, I love this episode because they showed Angel at his worst. I was like, so what actually is this? Is it a nightmare drug state for him, or is it actually good? Is it just a bit of both? I feel like that wasn't very clear anyway, because like what seems to be the purpose of that sequence completely changed anyway, because then it ended up being something Angelus really liked. So maybe it was just because it was switching around just to make it more of a nightmare for Faith, because they were sharing that space, which again I like the idea of, but I feel like they didn't, I don't know, signpost it well enough, like how things were changing in that world. Because then again it switched back and it was just like, Angel suddenly knows that you two are here and he can beat you up, and the soul was restored in like this dream-esque place, which I do kind of like, because Angel lost his soul early in the season in like a dream all in his head, so I like that he kind of got his soul back in the same sequence, same kind of way. That was really neat. And I like the idea of what Angel was saying to Faith in those flashbacks, because otherwise we wouldn't have gotten any Angel and Faith conversation really, apart from the very, very end of the episode, which again feels like a bit of a shame because it wasn't really them. So there's a lot of that with Cordelia on top of that. It's like, it's not actually them though. I'm like, maybe I'm just being overly picky. But I still liked the episode, and outside of those things, it's more so the odd character moments that felt a bit, that bothered me more so than everything else. Because, yeah, I liked the Angel and Faith conversation in that moment. It's like, living and redeeming yourself is a lot harder than just like dying to get redemption, which I think is absolutely true. Much more interesting for a character to kind of push through that redemption, and Faith and Angel kind of represent that so perfectly, and I'm glad they that was like an inciting incident for Faith to wake up again and Angel to fight back long enough for Willow to be able to restore his soul and everything. But yeah, it just felt like, oh, okay, that's not sorted now, because the episode has like 3 minutes left and we still need to say goodbye to Willow and Faith, and have a few brief scenes, and we still need Cordelia to come down, be all bitchy and say, I'm pregnant. What does she want? Like last episode she was like, Connor, we can't tell anyone how lucky we are. And she's like, hello, I'm pregnant. Maybe it's just because Angel was back. It just feels like non-Cordelia is making it up as she goes along, and that's not interesting to me. So yeah, that was a bit odd. And I feel like I'm really shitting on this episode even though I enjoyed it. And I mean, regardless of any problems I have, it's a 10 out of 10 episode because Willow and Fred interacted in it. That may be the only time they ever do that for all I fucking know. And I'm going to savour that until the day I die. That made me the happiest I've ever been. If I was, if I was a cursed vampire, I would have lost my soul. I tell you now. Like, I would be eating people as I talk to you because I'd be so overwhelmed with joy, I'd have lost my soul. Moment of true happiness right there. Oh my god. I kind of ship Willow and Fred. Make it happen, writers. God damn it. Cowards. Yeah, I mean, better than Kennedy, right? I shouldn't be shading someone who can't defend herself. It's not even the show she's on, but there you go. Yeah, seeing Willow was amazing, and the fact that we actually got some nice Fred and Willow interactions. Fred seemed to be like a big fan of hers, and was like, oh, I've been looking at all these. Maybe we should go over this sometime. When Willow was like, I'm seeing someone she thought Fred was flirting. Hilarious. I love that moment. And I would kill to see more interactions between those two, because you just know they'd get on like a house on fire, and they did, and they were just so adorable. And like having two cinnamon rolls from the two shows in the same scenes was just everything I could have ever hoped for. I never wanted to get my hopes up that it would happen and they would meet, because we don't really get many like proper crossovers, certainly not in the last couple of seasons when Buffy switched networks. So when Fred called Willow in Buffy, I was like, oh my god, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And my god, did it. And I loved it. And I love that she had a really kind of huge role to play, restoring the soul. A few scenes with Alexis as well. Wink, wink, probably from the writers there, giving them some screen time together. Makes sense. They can car share to work. Fantastic. So yeah, to see her get such a big role to play in the episode was fantastic. And it just makes me wish maybe we dealt with the dream stuff a bit sooner, just so we had a bit more time, so Willow and Angel could have more of a conversation. We got like a nice hug and everything, and a bit more Willow and Fred. And Willow and Gunn had a nice interaction. Gunn didn't really get a lot to do, so that would have been nice. Why did I not get a proper full in-depth conversation with Willow and Lorne? I'll never know. How did that not happen? How did we not get any interaction with those two, really? Absolute crime. But maybe one day. Who knows? And yeah, it would have been so cool to have Willow come down, and maybe at the end of the episode she was like, hey Angel, I think something's off with Cordelia, she didn't seem herself. That would have been really cool. A good way of planting that seed, but maybe they're just not ready for that. Maybe, it's been so long since Cordelia and Willow have seen each other in person, and they still technically haven't really. Willow can't claim to know exactly what Cordelia's like anymore, I guess, but that'd have been fun. That whole scene when she had like the knife under the bed, I was like, don't you dare fake Cordelia, don't you dare. Oh man, I'm ready for her to get exposed as being evil and they can just get Cordelia back, because I'm over it. And yeah, it was cool, like the Cordelia versus Willow match though, and the fact that Connor technically saved the day, really, because he distracted her and allowed the glass to smash so they could restore the soul. That was all really cool. And I liked, they did have a few comedic moments with Cordelia in this one as well, when she was like, oh shh, that was really funny. And I do have to give kudos, I think, to, Charisma and Alison for having to like do all these spells and stuff, and they're just like talking to no one, shouting all these spells. But particularly Charisma as well in this episode, because she had to just sit in a room on her own and do all of this spiel. I mean, she's had to do a lot of that in the last few episodes, but that must have been a bit more of a challenge to like have to like go up against this all-powerful witch character, because your whole plan kind of depends on it. And then you're just, in reality, you're just sat at a table on your own having to do all of that, and you don't have the CGI there to accompany you or anything. That must have been tough, so props to all the actresses for that. But yeah, and straight away she's just like, you need to kill Angelus, Connor, you need to kill Angelus, I'm flattering my eyelashes. God, that's so out of place when she snapped. So yeah, did she want Angelus around? Did she want him dead? Like, I guess once the soul was freed, she was like, well, we just need to kill him now then, because I don't want Angel back. So I guess that's why she wanted to have him killed suddenly. But we don't really know what her plan is, and hopefully they haven't tried to explain what her actual endgame thing is, because I have no fucking clue. I assume we haven't got it yet. But yeah, who knows? She seems to be making things up as we go along. I guess I'll just run with it and wait and see by the end of the season if we actually knew what her plan is. I don't know if her getting pregnant had anything to do with it. I feel like it must have done, because why would she just suddenly snap and change tack? Now she's pregnant, but then she just went back to being softly spoken again. Does she just want to get found out suddenly? Like, that whole lapse of, I don't know, weird. But anyway, Willow was great. Willow and Fred was everything to me. I hope we get more, but if not, I'm just glad it happened, because I wasn't sure if it ever would, so I will treasure it. And all those scenes with Willow, definitely the highlights for me. But yeah, I would have been a bit sad, like, oh, how much more Willow and Faith interaction? But if Faith's going to be on Buffy, you know, that's not really, I don't mind, because we might still get it. But it says a lot, I think, that Willow does want Faith to kind of come to Sunnydale as well, after everything. So it shows how far people are coming, like they always have. You know, we've seen how far Angel and Faith have come, and that kind of dynamic. Wesley as well being brought into that, and that scene with Willow and Wesley talking about, you know, finding that in the darkness. And like, Wesley is so insecure about himself that even when he turns like into a badass, you know, embracing the dark side kind of guy, he's still like, oh well, that's nothing compared to you then, is it really? He's like, oh, my darkness isn't even good enough now. He's just, oh, Wesley, you're a badass now, give yourself some credit. Breaks my heart. But I did like that scene. I feel like, in like a meta level, maybe that scene only happened just because of the fact that those two were together in real life at the time, and still are. I don't know why I said it like it's past tense. They're still adorable. I watched them on MasterChef. Alison did like a celebrity MasterChef thing in the US, and Alexis was there with their kids like cheering her on, and it was the most wholesome fucking shit you'll ever see. I love them. I would die for them. I would throw myself in front of a bus for them. But I digress. Anyway, I did like that scene with those two talking about their dark sides. That's just why I wish we got a bit more of those kind of scenes with Willow and Faith and, you know, some other characters, while we still can before Buffy's over, instead of like unconscious and jealous and Faith for most of the episode in the dream world, and Cordelia being this shitty version of Cordelia. I mean, let's be honest, like, Season 1 Cordelia would walk all over whatever this powerful being is that's taken her over or changed her or whatever. So yeah. We'll see what happens, because I'm not like... I still only dislike the like icky Connor arc, and I like that Fred was like, is that relationship a bit icky? Because yes. But, you know, it doesn't necessarily excuse it just because they've acknowledged that it's icky. I keep getting some like messages like, you know, it's supposed to be gross, right? You're supposed to be uncomfortable. I'm like, yes, I get that. It doesn't mean they should do it. Like, actively trying to make your viewers uncomfortable for some reason. Like, sure, go for it. Maybe with some like gore or something, but not with that kind of relationship. You know, it doesn't mean it's a good idea just because that's what they're planning to do with it, you know? Bizarre, but yeah. It is what it is, and you can't really... I don't really hold it against Connor. I can't hold it against Cordelia, because she's not even really around. I can hold it against whatever is manipulating or changing her or taking her over. I still don't know. I still don't know what's happening, guys. I still don't know. We only have 7 episodes left. I still don't know what the big bad of the season is. Yeah. Bizarre. But with Connor, he just thinks it's Cordelia. He's smitten. And he's being manipulated, and he's always been eager to kill Angelus / Angel anyway. I don't think it really matters which one he is. Connor's always wanted to try and kill him. So he's just kind of jumping on that, and that's just because how he was raised. So I can't be like, ugh, Connor, you're the worst person, because he is kind of a product of Wesley's mistakes, Holtz's raising of him, Angel's mistakes long ago when he was Angelus, that informed how Holtz ended up raising him, and this thing in wearing Cordelia's face manipulating him, you know? Can't necessarily hold it against him. I do feel like he should be much more mature, given the things he's seen, but he's also very damaged and broken, so there's a lot of complexity to him. But you have Angel have a son, a child of 2 vampires, a really, really interesting idea. And every single way they've explored that has been the most boring way you could explore it. Like, okay, he's an angsty teen, like every teenager. Like, why couldn't Connor be different and fun and interesting? Because he's a product of two vampires. Like, every person on the show's angsty. Can't we have, like, you know, bit of more to him? I just feel like the fact that he's always against his dad, he's always a nuisance and in the way. I just feel like that's the most obvious, boring route you can go with it, because every show does it when there's a teen rebellion. I get it's kind of realistic, but this is a show about a vampire who has a soul and demons and creatures. Like, why would you go for the angsty teenager route? It's just so boring. They could have done so much more interesting stuff with it, and I hope they still will for the rest of this season and maybe next season. Once this whole Cordelia mess is sorted, maybe Connor will be better. But yeah, it's not necessarily a fault of Cordelia or Connor or the actresses who play them. It is down to odd writing choices and odd ideas for arcs, and I keep getting so many like mixed messages, like it was done on purpose to like punish Charisma because she got pregnant during filming, or they actually always intended it for it to be this way, or it was always intended for Cordelia to be evil, but they had to add in the pregnancy thing because Charisma got pregnant. So I don't even know what went down behind the scenes. I don't know if anyone truly knows, because yeah, but I can't really look up behind the scenes stuff in case of spoilers, so I really don't know. I feel like this afterthought's been all over the place, and have I even spoken about everything I wanted? Yeah, oh, Lorne, when he was kind of singing to Faith and everything, that was adorable. I love that. Give Lorne more screen time. Thank you, sir. So I liked everything with him, like his little role. It's a shame Gunn didn't have as much to do, but, you know, there's so many characters already. I guess someone kind of had to be on the back burner. And I think to an extent Fred was as well, outside of a few adorable interactions, which I love her for. Oh my god. I still haven't processed the fact that my two cinnamon rolls kind of properly interacted. My two Buffyverse cinnamon rolls were like... insane. Insanity. Like, I've been well fed today. I will say that. And there was a lot more good in the episode than bad. It's just, I feel like I can analyse the bad stuff a lot more than the good stuff, because I'm just like, yeah, that was good, and I have to like... So it's not like I'm trying to come across as overly negative, and I hope I'm not. Because I did really like the episode overall. But it's just so much easier to talk about what I would have preferred, or some of the like more negative things, particularly in this one, because it just felt like a bit of wasted potential at times, which I think is sometimes worse than just an outright bad. But yeah, regardless, I did like Lorne. I liked, you know, showcasing how far Wesley has come, how far Widow's come, Faith, Angel versus Angelus in the Nightmare sequence was very good. The way the cliffhanger last time was resolved, and the fact that Faith did inject herself with this stuff, and like Wesley's, it seemed to be like Wesley's kind of plan, that Faith made the choice to do it, to like knock Angelus out. That's genius. I loved that twist. Really, really cool. You know, I guess in a way it's like, well, they could have maybe hinted at that a bit in the last episode, just to make the reveal feel a bit more earned, because the hints were there, but I don't really mind because it's such a clever idea, and obviously it had consequences because it set up this entire episode when they were passed out. So I liked that idea of them kind of sharing this drug-induced nightmare state, even if I feel like maybe I wouldn't have had a problem if Faith and Angelus were around for like another episode, so we could have more scenes like we got near the end, with Wesley and Faith like saying goodbye, and Angel and Faith kind of joking with each other, because there's such a special kind of friendship and bond between those two. And this entire arc that she's been back, they had a conversation twice, and one of them was in the nightmare realm. The rest of it, you know, he's been Angelus, so it just feels kind of a shame. And it reminds me of season 2, actually. It's kind of funny how things worked out. It's when she was in the season 2 premiere, I was like, oh my god, yes, that's so cool. And then when Angel kind of had his bit of a grey area bad turn halfway through season 2, I was like, oh, this has been the perfect opportunity to bring Faith back into it, because he helped her when she was at her lowest. She could do the same. That'd be really nice and cyclical. I was kind of sad that they didn't do that in season 2. Then here she's kind of saved him at his lowest moment in a way, even though it was their idea. He did do it willingly. So So they did kind of do it just 2 seasons later than I thought they would. But it then didn't really allow for much Angel and Faith proper interaction, which makes me sad. But I'm not going to go against what we did get, because what we got was still good. It's just like, oh, what if? What could have been? But yeah, it is what it is. I still really enjoyed what the episode did. But I do feel like I've been a Debbie Downer, negative Nancy. Just saying, oh, I would have preferred it if they did this, actually. Because what we did get was still really good. But I think it's just the frustrations of the plot, and just... The only things that truly bothered me were Cordelia snapping and the seemingly out-of-character Faith bit at the start of the nightmare thing. Everything else I was like, yeah, fine. I mean, the Connor, Cordelia, gross stuff was a bit... But they didn't really have, like, them tugging each other or anything in this episode, which I was fucking grateful for. So it wasn't as bad, it was a bit more bearable. And again, I can't blame the characters necessarily for it, even if it is frustrating. So yeah, those were the only things that like truly bothered me. Everything else was great. I got Willem and Fred, so like I said, 10 out of 10 episode. Them interacting is great. The fact that Faith may have gone off as well to go back to Buffy. Yes, can't wait for that. And yes, Cordelia at the end there being like, actually, Angel, things aren't alright. I'm pregnant, actually. I don't know why that's my evil Cordelia impression, because that's not at all how she speaks, but that's just my, well, actually voice. So, yes, he does now know. Everyone knows that she is with child. And, yeah, she mentioned the things in the last episode, like the baby's growing very quickly, so I feel like that'll be here with us very soon. I don't know if they're going to parallel Connor's birth or anything with it. It'd be oddly cyclical, also disturbing. We'll see where they go with it, but we've got a big plot advancement in terms of that as well. They wrapped up the Angelus and Faith arc quite nicely. I wish we had a bit more of it near the end to properly wrap it up. It feel like, oh, episode's over, we need to quickly, off you go. It felt like they were really like pushing Faith and Willow out the door at the end, just because there wasn't enough time. And then we had that big reveal there with Cordelia. Well, it wasn't a big reveal to us, it was to the characters. So we'll see what happens with that next, and how everyone's going to deal with that big revelation. But hopefully they find out something's wrong with Cordelia and fix it sooner rather than later. Yeah, whatever it is, maybe they can fix it and then they can fight it in its like weird alien demon-y true pure form in the finale or something. Maybe, I don't know. Although she's with child, so I don't think they can just do that, can they? Unless if the baby's growing rapidly, is the baby going to be the villain at the end? Maybe, I don't know. It's like the baby. No, the baby can't be the source of what's possessing Cordelia because it hasn't existed until a bit later. I don't even know. I don't even know. I'm not sure they even knew. We're just going to wait and see what happens, and I will try and look at it as positively as I can because that's what I try to do. And yeah, overall, a very good episode. I liked a lot of what they did with it. Decent resolutions to the Angela stuff, the Faith stuff. Getting Willow and Fred to interact was everything. Addressing how far a lot of these characters have come, like the Wesley and Willow scene in particular was really fun. I loved that moment. Angel, in like the dream bit, being able to hear Faith and Angelus and actually fighting him. Again, I don't think they properly explained the logistics of how that worked in a decent enough way, but I guess it was just, it's like, is it a flashback or is it not? Because Angel could then hear and get involved. Was it supposed to be a torture for Angelus because it kept going back and forth on whether or not it was? I feel like it wasn't very well defined by what that drug could actually do to you. Especially because it's like, oh, this is deadly to Slayers. And then, like, oh, episode's nearly over, Faith needs to wake up. Yay, I'm cured. Goodbye, everyone. So just a few things. I was like, yeah, little niggles, but I only really have a problem, with a few things I've already mentioned. So the majority of the episode was great. And I look forward to seeing where they're going to take things now that everyone knows Cordelia's preggers. Yeah, that's going to be a bit of a mess. What else is new when it comes to Buffyverse? because everything is always messy. So yeah, I'm excited for that, and obviously this is a complete Angel cycle, so my next reaction is also to the next episode of Angel, which should be quite something. So yes, Willow and Fred, 10 out of 10, that is all I need to say. And yeah, that's going to be everything. Really good episode overall, and I look forward to seeing what's going to happen next. But until my next reaction, thanks for watching.